Alright, so this is example 38, and this is about functions, right? So they say in the diagram alongside, f of x is 16 minus x squared and g of x is ax plus b. We start off by filling in as much as possible, okay? So we see that f of x over here refers to our parabola, and g of x refers to our straight line function, okay? So at this point you should be able to see straight off the bat that the 16 in our equation is a giveaway for our turning point, okay? So, or our y-intercept, and so the point C would be at 0 and 16, right? That is something we can fill in straight away. For g of x, ax plus b, we don't exactly have any information that we can fill in as yet, and so that's as far as we can go in terms of what we can see from the information. Okay, the first instruction here is to determine the length of OC. OC is from our origin up to point C, and that is, I think, a clear 16 units from 0 up to 16, and so OC, the length would be 6 units, okay? The next question is the length of AB. Now, AB goes from this point to this point, okay? And in order for us to determine this horizontal length, we need to know the x values of both these points. And those 2 points just happen to be the x-intercepts of our parabola, or our x-intercepts of f. And so we have to start off by finding the value of those x-intercepts. So I've gone ahead and done the calculation, which we've done countless times. Because a and b are the x-intercepts of f, we let y equal to 0. In doing so, we find that 0 is 16 minus x squared. We bring our variable to the left to find that x squared is equal to 16. And by square rooting both sides, we find that x is either positive or negative 4. So now to determine which is which, we have to look at our function and see, is a positive or negative 4 and is b positive or negative 4? Because a is on the left hand side of your x, of your origin, that would be your negative 4, and because b is on the right hand side, that would be positive 4, and so we have the coordinates of those 2 points. The question, however, was the length of AB, and to get that horizontal length, we have to say the x on the right minus the x on the left, which is 4 minus our negative 4, which makes the length of AB 8 units. Okay, so AB is 8 units long, going from point A to point B. Okay, so you'll see I've filled in every bit of information I've found up to this point. The key to success in functions, aside from knowing everything about your functions and their standard form, is to fill in every single thing you find. If you do not do that, you are setting yourself up to mess this section up entirely. Okay, so at this point I found that I found the value of the y-int, and I also found the x-int of my parabola, right? Question C is now asking us to find the values of a and b, and those values happen to lie on g of x. So I'll start off by saying, okay, g of x is ax plus b, which you might know as mx plus c or ax plus q. What remains is the fact that b or c or q is your y-intercept. And so at this point, your function of g, right, we need to go check where is this graph cutting my y-axis, and it's right there. Okay, and so now the equation up to this point is ax plus 8. From here we have 1, 2, 3 unknowns, and so this can easily be solved by substituting a single coordinate. If we have a look of the graph of g of x, we only have one other point on this graph, and that would be at point A. So we substitute point A, which is negative 4 and 0, and from there we can find the value of A, or the gradient of this function, right? So when y is 0, the x value is equal to negative 4. From here we just have to solve for A. So 0 is equal to negative 4a plus 8, right? Variables on the left, 4a is equal to 8, which means that a is equal to 2, right? So at this point, My equation for g is y or g is equal to 2x plus 8.